Good afternoon and welcome to M.M.E. I'm your host, Blind Prime, and for today I'm going to be talking about the vehicle mode, the tank mode for Transformers Legacy Skullgrinn. And I think this is an amazing tank mode. And before I really get into this, please go below, hit that like button, share on all your social media platforms, and of course, subscribe. All of my tanks go to you for that. And I really appreciate you for doing that. Every subscription, every like, every share, every comment goes a long way towards helping me reach more visually impaired people and being able to raise awareness for the visually impaired and the blind that exist out there. So thank you so much. Thanks you so much for helping me today. I really appreciate you. Now let's talk about this tank mode. And I will say that I am a little sad that I slept on it for so long because it is a cute little tank mode. It is really thin, and we're going to do some comparisons with other tanks to kind of give you an idea of the shape and size of this tank. But first off, when you combine all the weapons of this guy together, you actually get something kind of funny. The weapons are as long as him. I just like that. I think that's kind of funny. Look at that. They're just the same length as him. That's neat. So let's go ahead and put his giant guns back on top of him. And of course, you can decide to not have double barrel things. So you can take these two off of that and you can put these guns on the sides because he does have some siege ports. And we don't talk about siege ports enough, honestly. For some reason, it just kind of stops. So let's go ahead and count them. We got 1, 2, and then we've got 3 counting up here somewhere. Yeah. So there's 3 siege ports. And on the front, there are no siege ports. And that's it. So 5 siege ports on him and 1 peg. That's not too bad. And then, of course, his gun mode thing here brings out more siege ports, like 4. So that's pretty good. He's got a decent amount of siege ports for Legacy. 5. I would like more, but then we can take these guns on here and we can put them on either side of these treads in these siege ports there. Let's line it up. It doesn't want to go in sometimes because they're rubberized weapons, so these things that stick in, they do tend to really get in there and a little difficult to move around and stuff. But we can stick those in. There we go. And of course, if you don't like the fact he's a double barrel tank, you can remove his barrels from the sides of the tank mode, which I do enjoy. I like the fact that you can do this. And then we're going to move this thing around. We're going to flip it upside down. We're going to set that there like so. Okay, now we're going to take one of these guns and we're going to plug it in to this. There it goes. And then, nuts. I screwed that up. Okay, so we're going to set that there. All right, and then, hey, come on. Come on now. Fit in your spot. Go to your home. That's your home. Don't you want to be in your home? There we go. Now you've turned him into something like a howitzer. He's got 1 barrel, but it sticks way up. And yeah, I think that's kind of neat. Having 1 barrel, he's just now a howitzer cannon, able to fire his ammunition multiple miles away. Let's go ahead and put these guns back on the sides there. I think this is an excellent little tank. Sculpt-wise, because there isn't really much articulation next to the spinning thing. The front of him has got a bunch of armor. We've got these 2 bits that stick out the front that are the fronts of his hands. I think it would have been better if these 2 things that stick out were actually rotated so that they connected a bit more and didn't leave that little gappage in the front. I think that would have been a little more neat, but oh well. Now on the sides here, we've got a lot of covering. I think this is supposed to be some sort of shield to protect the front treads, which are non-existent. There's no front treads for him, but you can pretend they're underneath this covering on the shield, which is something I'm like, really? You couldn't have even given us the hint of, coloring this like a tread or something? That would have been cool. Coming down in the end, and we've got the actual treads that have 2 siege ports in them. They're not too bad. They're decently sized. We've talked about how they fit on the backs of the front, on the backs of his legs. It works out pretty well. He's a solid guy, and he doesn't weigh too much, but he's decent. And there's taking this off. We got some more sculpting on here. We've got like the canopy thing that a driver would fit into. It's actually right here in front of the guns. That's kind of neat. Then on the back here, it's all smooth, and there's some rivets in there and armor plating that they've sculpted in, but that's just about it. There's not really much going on with this guy in tank mode. He's a little boring in tank mode, but he is a decent tank, and that's why I like him. I think he makes for a fun tank. Now, that is all I really got to talk about for him in his tank mode. And then let's go ahead and remove these things from his sides, and we're going to set them off to the side. So his two rubberized guns are over here, and they're out of the way, because now I think it's time we do some size comparisons. And isn't that really the funnest part? Because there's not much more I can say about this tank mode except giving it a... I think I'd give this tank mode an 8 out of 10. I believe that it should... I mean, it's got a rotating top to it, so maybe just... Nah. 8 out of 10 seems reasonable for this tank mode. I think that's a reasonable score. It's missing some things. It doesn't have caster wheels, which I really don't like. The fact it doesn't roll. And they just kind of gave you the imagination of the front treads instead of actually giving you any front treads. So that's why he's getting an 8 out of 10. Overall, good tank. Good tank. It's just he could have been better. He could have been better. Now, let's bring out some things. We've got this character. It's the pants for... Clouds? No. I'm forgetting the name of him. Air Raid? No. He's the guy that's an airplane in a tank. And here's his pants, which are the tank mode. And he's from Siege, and I'm totally dropping the name. I'm sorry about that. But let's take a look. We've got the pants for that guy, and they come. If we put him to the end, the rear of the tank, the front of the pants tank comes to just before this little piece on the side of the front skirts of the tank mode. And there's a little rectangular peg that sticks out, and he comes to right before it. Height-wise, yeah, Skullgrinn's definitely taller than the pants tank. But the pants tank has caster wheels, so it rolls. Not very well, but it still rolls. You know, that's better than what Skullgrinn's got. Tell you that straight up. Now let's go ahead and remove the pants tank. Let's set him down over here. Now, I mentioned that I considered this guy to be Tarn Light. And let me get my Tarn. I put him somewhere over here. No, you're a Megatron. And you're a Megatron. And you're a Tarn. Here's Tarn. So here's Tarn to give you an idea of what I was talking about. Tarn Light. Part of the reason I called him Tarn Light is because he's a very long tank like Tarn. And there's a lot of just space that's not really being used for anything, like Tarn, with this back area that's just not being used for anything. And he's got double barrels like Tarn, except his barrels are smaller than Tarn barrels. But let's go ahead and do something fun here. Tarn, give me your barrels. Give me your barrels, Tarn. Thank you. All right. Now, Tarn's barrels have a siege peg on them, which means that there's no way I can take Skullgrinn's barrels and put them on Tarn, because Skullgrinn's barrels don't have a siege peg on them at all. But that's kind of what they would look like if they were put on Tarn. Now, fun thing though, we can take Tarn's barrels here and rotate that around if we want. And since there's a siege peg on the other side of them, we can put Tarn's barrels on him. And I think that's kind of neat. Look at Tarn's barrels on him. They're really cool. Now, because there's a peg there, we can take Skullgrinn's barrels and we can put them there. Look at that. Yeah. Now that's crazy. Look. He can spin in two different directions. Boo, 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 boo. And then this one can just spin in the counterclockwise, clockwise spinning. We can just that's kind of neat. Okay, I like the fact that there's this is just way too many guns. Oops, all guns. Oops, all tank guns. That's fun. And this is kind of neat. So yeah, if you wanna have some fun with it, removing Tarn's guns and putting them on Skullgrin is something that you can do. Now let me go ahead and put Tarn's guns back. Make sure I find the siege port there, because it is kind of hidden. There it goes. All right, Tarn's guns are back, and let's go ahead and put Skullgrin's guns back over here, and we'll finish the comparison of the two. So here Tarn is and Skullgrin. Tarn and Skullgrin are the same length. If you count for the treads at the bottom, if you count for the bit that hangs out at the top of Tarn, and there we go. And yeah, Tarn's a little bit longer than Skullgrin. But if you just work by the treads, and we back the treads up to each other, Skullgrin and Tarn are the same length. It's just that Tarn's got these knee pad things that stick out the back. So that's where the difference is. Now, width-wise, Tarn wins. Look at that. Skullgrinn can just rest on top of Tarn with no problems. Yeah, it's the double. It's the dreaded double tank. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Be thankful you don't have to face this tank in combat. Okay, so that's Tarn mixed with Skullgrinn here. Let's set Tarn off to the side. I think Tarn's a decent tank mode, but I do like the Skullgrinn a bit more. Alright, now let's come over here. We've got... Which one are you? Oh, yeah, you are, Oh, crap. How did I forget another one's name? Nuts. I had them all lined up in my head, too. This is the tank, the Siege Autobot tank. He's a wrecker. He's the old wrecker. He's got the hand that becomes a hook. And for some reason, I am just drawing a blank on his name today. And I am so sorry for that, my viewers. I am very sorry for drawing a blank on his name. But let's do a size comparison with these two deluxe tanks together. The difference between Tarn and Skullgrinn is that Tarn was a Voyager tank, and these two are deluxes. Now, Skullgrinn is longer than this the Siege Autobot tank. Now we're going to do a comparison of width-wise. We're going to put them tread to tread to do that, and we see that the rear of this Autobot tank, which I keep forgetting the name of, is a bit wider than Skullgrinn, but the front is a bit narrower than Skullgrinn, and so that's kind of interesting. They each are deluxes, and they've each managed to pack in a lot of things. They each weigh about the same, though the Siege tank definitely weighs a little more than the Skullgrinn tank, and the Siege tank also has caster wheels. Gotta love those caster wheels. The Skullgrinn tank does not have caster wheels, but that's a little size comparison of the two. Now let's go ahead and put this guy off to the side, and oh man, I just, why am I forgetting his name? Just terrible at names. Let's move on to one of the, let's see, we got a Megatron, we've got a Megatron, we've got a Megatron, we've got a, whatever this guy is. This is one of the Siege Weaponizer tanks. He's the Maser Gun tank. Ooh, Maser Face. Like Taser Face from Guardians of the Galaxy. I love that guy. Alright, the Skullgrinn tank is a little longer than this one. I think this one's Brawn or Brawl? Maybe Brawl? He was a weaponizer tank. He was supposed to be a companion for... we got this, no, I'm terrible at names today. Good grief. They just all left me. The Titan class Decepticon that becomes a kaiju monster. That's what this guy's supposed to be partnered with, and my lord. Anyway, do a little comparison here. So there's that. Put them treads to treads. We see that in the rear area, it's the same as Skullgrinn. In the front, he's wider than Skullgrinn. Isn't that weird? Like, he's the opposite of the other guy I just talked about, the Autobot Siege character, who was a wrecker. I think that's kind of funny that this guy's rear is thinner and his front is wider. This is so odd. Now, barrel spins and stuff. I think that's pretty neat. Now, let's go ahead and do another fun thing of, I think maybe we can take this off. Can we take this off of your back? No, that's actually solid on your back, isn't it? Yeah. There's a metal pin holding it in place. Darn. That would have been cool if we could do that. There it goes. All right, so let's set this guy off to the side, and we're going to continue our tank comparisons. Oh, man. Let's set it there. Okay, we got Slammer here. I remember his name. Thank God for that. Nope, Slammer, your guns. Okay, so Slammer here, Slammer the tank, is also a deluxe class tank. And Skullgrinn is definitely longer than Slammer, a lot longer than Slammer. Now, Slammer is a more condensed tank, though. He's wider than Skullgrinn by a little bit. I'd say one Lego stud width. The entire length of him is wider. He is not taller than Skullgrinn, but he's got a more compact transformation. Skullgrinn's got like this big hollow area in the front where you hit his arms and stuff, and it's a little fragile. That isn't the case with Slammer. Everything about Slammer really kind of folded in on itself, and yeah, he was a weaponizer, so you had to take it apart and rebuild it. but it still made a bit more of a solid transformer. Like Skullgrinn does not feel near as solid as Slammer does here. Now them together do look really nice though. I do give it that to Slammer. Now let's set Slammer off to the side and let's talk about my favorite Autobot, Warpath. Yeah, well, one of my favorite Autobots. And Warpath here is definitely not as long as Skullgrinn. Warpath is significantly shorter than Skullgrinn, but we compare them tread to tread. Warpath is significantly wider than Skullgrinn on all accounts. I mean, he is a Sherman tank after all, and that is a definite difference. Where Skullgrinn is a narrow, long tank, Warpath here is a fat, he's a wide, short tank, and the only thing I wish you could remove the tank barrel for Warpath and replace it with Skullgrinn's tank guns. I think that would have been fun, but no, you cannot remove Warpath's turret. Sadly enough, missed opportunity in my opinion. Now let's set Warpath over here. We're just gonna set them both over here. So, there you go. Who do I have next? Oops, all Megatrons. That's what I got next. So let's see. 1 Megatron, 2 Megatron, and 3 Megatrons. So many Megatrons. Alright, so which Megatron did I pull up first? Oh, this is Armada Megatron. Armada Megatron is one of my favorite Megatron tank. No, this isn't Armada Megatron. My bad. This is Blitzwing tank. Oops. I forgot I had Blitzwing here. I transformed Blitzwing into his tank mode to do a little comparison of this. We're not going to put it treads to treads. We're going to put it engines to treads. So these jet engines on the back of Blitzwing, we're going to line up with the rear of Skullgrinn. Blitzwing's tank mode is definitely longer than Skullgrinn's tank mode. Once again, you can't remove the barrel, the tank turret things, so we can't do the fun little replacement of the two. But let's turn them sideways, and there's a big difference in width. Blitzwing here is a much, much wider tank. Also, a lot heavier, more dense than anything else. Skullgrinn's got some weight to him, but the leader class definitely wins out. Now, let's set Blitzwing over here off to the side, and let's find the next one. Let's see. Okay, so I did put 3 Megatrons over here, I thought. Where is my 3rd Megatron? Okay, are you Megatron? No? Alright, so we've got H-Tank Megatron to go. We've got that Megatron. But where is my real favorite Megatron at? Where did Armada Megatron go? I had Armada Megatron here. And where is Armada? Oh, here's Armada Megatron. Cool. So let's bring out Armada Megatron and talk about Armada Megatron next to Skullgrinn. I know, I'm doing a lot of comparisons today, but this is just Oops All Tanks Day. So, alright. Lining them up to the rear, we get Armada Megatron being a lot longer than, he's actually, comparing him to Blitzwing here. Let's see. Yeah, no, he's even longer than Blitzwing. Like, Blitzwing ain't got nothing on this Armada Megatron. Let's see. Even width-wise. Ooh, wow. Armada Megatron's so much larger than Blitzwing. And now, let's take a look at Skullgrinn with Armada Megatron. Tread to tread. Holy crap. Armada Megatron's like 3 Skullgrinns. Skullgrinn could even rest on top of Armada Megatron's turret, just for funsies, I think that's just wild. Like this Megatron is beastly. And do I even have him transform correctly? Yeah, I do. Cool. This is just wild. I think this is crazy how big. Let's see. Can Skullgrinn fit in the middle of the H? Can they combine their forces together? Okay, let's see. No, there's those little claw grabber things. What about the rear? Can he fit in between those? Yeah, he can. He can actually fit in the H, the little negative section of the H. That's pretty neat. So let's put giant Armada Megatron off to the side. Now let's grab Warfare Cybertron Gamerverse Megatron. And Gamerverse Megatron, of course, is a Voyager class. So let's take a look at these. And it seems like Skullgrinn is a lot longer. Even if you were to take the stuff that hangs out on the top of Gamerverse Megatron, Skullgrinn is still longer, not counting the barrel. Now, comparing their widths, Gamerverse Megatron is a lot wider than Skullgrinn. Then height-wise, Skullgrinn and Gamer Megatron are about the same. Now, Let's see, can we remove Gamer Megatron's gun and replace it with Skullgrinn's? No, no, we cannot, because of, once again, there's just that weird bit of transformation in there. Though we can take out the gun and leave that little siege peg there, but that's not going to really help us with this at all. So that is Gamer Megatron. That barrel doesn't even rotate. Yeah, there's a lot about the Gamer versus Megatron I don't like, and you can see the comparison there. Skullgrinn's still a better tank than Gamer versus Megatron. Now let's set Gamerverse off to the side, and finally let's bring out the last of the Megatrons. I've got the Netflix exclusive, Walmart exclusive Megatron here, and let's do the first thing of, can you fit in the H? Yes, yes he can. Let's go ahead and close up that little gappy bit there a bit. There you go. Roll it back so it covers Megatron's head a bit more. Make sure those pieces are locked in. There it goes. Let's load in this transform. Now that fits in there. Oh yeah, that's kind of neat. Now this is wild because, you know, this OG Megatron here was a Voyager class, and look at the difference in that. It's just wild. How different these two guys are from one another. And once again, you can't really separate the tank turret from this Megatron, but this Megatron does have the benefit of having a tank turret that rotates all around, like Armada Megatron, and unlike the War for Cybertron Megatron. And I think that's all of my tanks. Yeah, that's all of the tanks I've got so far. I don't think I've missed a single... Wait, I did miss one tank. I did miss one tank, and he's over here somewhere. Remembering him. Here he is. Here he is. He's a headmaster. Okay, cool. That's Armada Megatron. Yeah, here's the headmaster tank that came out in a Walmart thing. So set them off to the side there. All right. I have forgotten the name of this headmaster tank, but I think he's a lot of fun. I do like him. And he's an Autobot tank, and let's compare them now. He's wider than Skullgrinn here, and he was a deluxe class, by the way, but Skullgrinn's longer than him. And here's a little comparison. He's much wider than Skullgrinn, but Skullgrinn is much longer than this tank. And of course, you know, this tank was more on the Titan stuff, so there is a little Titan master hanging out in the cockpit there that turns his head. I do like the little cockpits. I think they're fun. Now that's really all we got. Though this tank does. You can actually remove this tank turret, but it has a peg. And I hate the peg makes it a little annoying because you can't switch these guys around, but you can. Let's see if I can find the peg hole. There it is. Okay, we're going to rotate this around. I'm going to take it off first. Darn. Oh, I caught it. Cool. All right, so we're going to rotate that. And we're going to. Oh my God! I caught it again. Yay! All right. Now let's go ahead and set that there. Close that up. Take this giant gun. Set that into that spot. And now let's put Skullgrinn's gun back. There we go. That's not only is he a tank with two barrels, but he's also a howitzer with a giant cannon that shoots miles into the distance. That's fun. All right, well, that's all of the tanks I have for you today. This is a lot of tanks, and thanks so much for watching today's video. I hope that you've enjoyed it. Let's put this tank gun back. There it goes. Now let's go ahead and fold that back up. I do like that. It reminds me a lot of Tank Core from Beast Machines. And where is my zapper at? Hey, don't roll under things. Okay, cool. There it is. All right. Well, thank you so much for watching today's video, listening to today's video. I hope that this has helped you understand kind of the size of Skullgrinn here. Skullgrinn's a decent little tank mode. It's just odd how thin and long he is. But then again, we've just done a comparison of a couple of tank modes that are just as long and thin as him. So it's all a matter of what you like and what you dislike, I guess. But I like this tank, and then again, I'm biased because I like all tanks. I think they're all kind of fun to transform into, aren't they? Now, thank you so much for watching today's video, and I hope that you can tune in next Pride, where we'll be talking about something else. Tomorrow, I will not be bringing you a Lego video. I am still working on the second story of the Iron Man build I'm doing, so I'll let you know when that comes out, I'll bring a video as soon as I'm done with it. I'm currently in the process of building the walls. I've gotten all the initial design done, and I'm finishing everything up. It's just taking a little time to get everything correct. If you've built Lego from scratch, you know that sometimes you get most of the way through it and you realize you screwed up one brick earlier in the process and you have to disassemble and rebuild. But that's just design. That's what happens. So I'll bring you the finished product as soon as I'm done with it. Thank you again for watching today's video, and please, hit that like, share, and subscribe button, and please, comment below and let me know what's your favorite tank from Transformers so far. Until next time, bye bye for now.